It's Chelsa Messenger with Picks and Parlays. College football is finally back, and we've got some games to throw some action on. We've got a free pick. If you like our content, we'd really appreciate it if you give us a like, share our stuff, and if you want a notification every time we post a new video, hit the bell. We are talking SMU and Texas State. We've got Scott Rickenbach joining us to talk this first matchup of college football for both of these teams. SMU, big favorites in this one, minus 23. The over-under is 69, which obviously looks really high, but SMU was one of those teams that sailed over the total in several of their games last season. They have that high-scoring offensive attack led by Shane Buechele, the quarterback at SMU, that's done pretty well there in his tenure. So thoughts on this one?
Yes, as you mentioned, a big number on this one. And as I've mentioned before, in football and basketball for that matter, any game that has a huge spread on it for me, usually unless I can trust that underdog, I don't like to lay big points. So usually I look and say, okay, well, can I trust that underdog? And in this case, there's no way to trust Texas State in this matchup against this talented SMU team. Last year, the Mustangs blasted them 47-17. That one was up in Dallas. This one is at San Marcos, where Texas State is located. And so could be a slightly different matchup, but at the same time, the Mustangs offense just too much. But as you mentioned mentioned as far as them flying over the total in a few games last year, their defense is something that is a weakness for sure. Mustangs allowed 33.5 points per game last year, and that included 37 when they were away from home. Now, I'm not saying that the Bobcats are going to get to that kind of number here, but one thing we know for sure is SMU is going to pile up the points. They have that very talented quarterback, very talented offense. They return most of their leading receiving guys, receivers from last season are back for the Mustangs as well. And they're facing a Texas State defense that lost most of the secondary, and it was already a weakness to begin with, one of the worst pass defenses in the nation. So SMU will be able to throw all over them. The weather looks pretty good. The early forecast looking at potentially a chance of some rain in the area, but not very windy, pretty light winds. And of course, they'll shut it down for a bit if they have to, if there's a thunderstorm in the area. But the point is that we should see pretty good weather conditions for both teams to be able to throw the ball well. And here's the surprising thing. Texas State may surprise some people by scoring some decent points in this game because, again, SMU's defense, certainly not a strength. Texas State's coach is an offensive-minded coach, and he's in his second year with the team, and they returned most of their starters from last year in terms of on the offensive side of the ball. So they're going to be able to score some points here. Teams often do much better in the second year when they have a new head coach. So again, the Bobcats come soon, but they do have a talented offense that can do some damage in this game. But again, there's just no stopping SMU for them in this game. And did want to mention that in 4 of their last 5 home games last year, Texas State did score at least 24 points. And so again, to get to this number, you look at SMU winning big and Texas State getting into the mid-20s at least in this game. And I see it flying over the total, which in my opinion is the best way to play this matchup. I would lean toward the over in this game.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for Texas State and SMU talk here on Picks and Parlays. As always, great stuff from Scott Rickenbach. Scott, thanks for joining us.